You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
The following is a Live the Dream Media production.
Good morning, everyone. It feels good to be back in the seat in the studio as opposed to being the director today.
Hey, you're wearing all the hats around here, David.
Yeah, which is not something I thought I was going to be doing. But
you didn't see that in your first day as the CEO, did you? That you were going to be wearing 26 hats on a Wednesday morning.
No, I did not.
And you almost had your refereeing shirt on this morning too, a little bit.
You know what, Chris did a great job moderating that situation, but also what I noticed about Chris's show. So we're following up David Samoan's Wake Up that he has here at the Live the Dream Media Network, and
it got spirited a little bit. You know
what? What the great thing was, I came out, during the break, and I just said, "Hey guys, I just want to express how important this kind of moment is."
Mm-hmm.
You have people with two very different opinions.
I was cheering them from the armchair quarterback position.
Yeah,
because it was respectful.
Mm-hmm.
They were disagreeing in a pretty adamant way, but there was no disrespect.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Andy Biggs and Dan Shear, moderated by David Samoan on Wake Up with David Samoan show. That was in the 8 o'clock hour, I believe. It was really spirited. It was a really spirited conversation, and I dig that because at the end of the day, isn't that how we start solving problems? Is having honest discourse,
yes,
about our disagreements.
Right. And the way it ended was really, really good. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Shay, can you bring our mic levels up a little bit? They seem a little low. So if people don't know, Shay is a new trainee in the room today.
Hey, with the heat that she's taking in there, she's more than a trainee. We're going to shed that title.
Yeah.
She is a trainee. She is in training, but she is just doing a remarkable job.
Yeah, you don't be afraid to go a little higher too. Go above that middle bar there, and then there you go. So it was a great show. It was great to see people with different opinions just talking their way through it and doing it in a spirited manner. But then, at the end, they were talking about how, they respected each other and their differences and everything that was going on. That's one of those things we've lost, right? With all the bang, bang head titles. And the conversation, if you're wondering what it was about media in today's world.
Yeah.
And, there's been a lot of stuff said about legacy media and different things. And, Dan was very open about his role in the media and how it's kind of the older platforms and stuff where they're still writing and everything. And, it was a very engaging conversation. And then Dan went on to ask questions of Congressman Andy Biggs. And, I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So go check out the video on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook channel if you want. And, see some really great
solid
insight.
stuff. I'm proud it was on our network. I really was.
Yeah.
And we had the next group of guests were in the lobby, if you will, when that was going down. And they're all like, "Are you listening to this?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I couldn't leave my house it started in the 7 o'clock hour because I was trying to leave to come down here. But I'm like, Tammy, I can't leave right now because at that point it was Dan and Chris mixing it up pretty good. And I'm like, I can't leave because this is solid. What's the word I'm looking for? Not news, but solid conversation.
Someone's like, that was awesome radio.
Yeah, it really was. Because again, there was no name calling. There was no lack of respect. It was a disagreement. People disagreeing without being disagreeable, as our late buddy Ed Honey used to say all the time.
Yeah,
it was good. It was refreshing because in this world, everybody's just. Right? I mean,
or they're pounding on the desk like a guy named
down.
Patrick I know, just bam, bam, bam when he's talking. So,
well, don't be talking about the table pounders because I've been known to get excited and pound a table or two myself. So.
Yeah. And
hey,
it's great. It's a great way to say energetic. Go ahead.
It's great. Well, it's chilly. It's chilly outside. The wind's blowing. Like Chris said, it's a blizzard in the desert without the precipitation.
Yeah, just that cold, dry, skin cracking.
Yeah.
I use so much I use moisturizer on my arms and hands and everything. It's like this time of year is insane. I love the monsoon season because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's always kind of dewy out. And
well, I was telling you a minute ago, I went in for a long lunch, it turned out to be. I went in at 1:30 and I had a sweat on and I'm like, did I take this off? And when I came out, I'm like, I wish I had 2 on.
Yeah.
Because the wind had just kicked up in that 2-hour time frame. And even though the temperature only dropped maybe 15 degrees, which is pretty substantial drop in a 2-hour period, the wind was just
ugly.
It was almost like Wyoming wind. And if you've ever been to Wyoming, you know what I'm talking about.
I have not yet, but I plan on it.
The wind blows all the time, by the way.
I've seen semis almost tip over.
I've seen
on
semis
the highway
over.
video. Yeah. My daughter, she's so funny yesterday. She's like, I want to go play in the sandbox. And I'm like, it's kind of cold out there. It's really windy. We're not going to do that. She's, begged, Dad, come on. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you a shot. Yeah. 2 minutes. Dad, I'm cold. I want to go inside. And I'm like, okay, well, we learned something
you just got to let them.
Gotta let them go.
Do their thing.
All right, if this is what you want, then go for it, And she did her thing and for 2 minutes and was done.
Hey, we got an exciting, I'm going to jump out of here in just minutes. We got an exciting guest that you're going to bring in here in a few minutes, and it's our good friend Roxanne Ziegler, Vice Mayor Marana. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to cut my visit short. I'll be back at 11 with our good buddy Ron Arenas, Picture Rock Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble with Janae.
Get it right.
Yeah, get it right, or don't say it at all. No, she's never said it that way, but she has kindly reminded Chris for sure. Hey, we do plumbing too, so I'll be back at 11. I hope you guys will join us for that. But really excited to get Roxanne in the booth and have you guys chatted up real good
for sure. And if you're watching and listening and you have any questions or comments for Vice Mayor Ziegler at the Downtown Marana, go ahead and get them ready. That'll be coming up after the break. I can tell you that we're going to be talking about the Downtown Marana Project, the Community Center Project, the Live to Lead event that Roxanne went to with us, which is a leadership event that's John Maxwell based, which was great. So it's great to hear that leaders in the area are there.
Can I say? I mean, this is no surprise. We're coming back with that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we had conversations with Jose Oliver. I believe it was last week, at the end of the last week, and those are coming back. There's going to be smaller versions of those, and then there's going to be the full version that we did a couple of weeks ago at Royal Valley Church of the Nazarene. Great event.
Yeah.
And well received. Everyone we spoke to, and we spoke to basically everyone that was there, they were like, wow, I had no idea that. So if you're in leadership, desire to be in leadership, want to be better as a leader, these are things you need to get on your calendar. When the dates get open, get after them.
Yeah, and always a reminder that you don't need to have a title to do it. Like if you want to be a good leader at home, everything. I remember talking to some of the people there, and they were expressing how the stuff they learned, especially the conservation of your energy and how you're using your energy and different things, was so important in every aspect of life. Like, how do I get through these different things? Because it can get overwhelming doing certain things, right? Running a business, being a parent.
Running a business, I'm glad you brought that up,
I think
David.
people get lost in that a little bit.
But they expect there to be a title, and then that magically solves all your problems. And we're looking to our leaders, but great leaders actually don't want to be leaders. I've discovered that in all my years. And great leaders typically leave either from in front, follow me. That was in the military. Follow me. That's a great leadership. I'm in front. I'm gonna lead the way. I'm gonna show you how to do this. Or they lead from behind strategically, just so they can see the whole pack, as in a wolf pack, and where everybody fits and where they need to be, and keeping everybody coached up. So you don't have to have a title to be a great leader.
So before we go to break, what time is your show today? Is it
11 o'clock?
11 o'clock.
Ron Arenas.
All right, an hour after this one.
Yeah.
And don't miss it. Tune in. Clint, thanks for joining me for
pleasure.
this quick little bit of the show today. It's always nice.
Hey, bundle up out there. It's going to be cold for the next week.
And if you're interested in working with Live the Dream Media, we do now have a full-time position available, which is our director and audiovisual engineer for here in the studio and some of the other parts we're going to be building. If you haven't heard yet, Local Marana is housed at Live the Dream Media. It's produced there, and we have an online radio platform And we have a bunch of podcasts that are live and recorded.
So much more coming that we're not even talking about.
Yeah.
We got tons of stuff in the pipeline. We're growing. So if you want to be
Part of that.
on the ground floor, I mean, you hear that term used and tossed around a lot, but this is literally ground floor, and help us grow this thing. Reach out to David.
Or go to LinkedIn for the audiovisual engineer, please. There's a link there. You can click in, send your app and resume. I'd appreciate it. So
thanks for having me,
thank
David.
you, sir.
See you shortly.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair. My drains were clogged. I was really in despair. So I called some guy. You've never seen such a mess. And every time he leaned over, well, you can probably guess. Now I get it done right by Picture Rocks Cooling. They're neat and clean, peachy keen. Really no fooling. Got a problem? Just call them and help is coming. Picture Rocks Cooling, heating and plumbing.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with a tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net. We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles. Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Shay. Thanks for bringing us back after that ad break, sponsorship break. I'm back here with Vice Mayor Roxanne Ziegler of the town of Marana. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
You liking the weather or no?
Oh, I love this weather.
You love it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get too hot too fast.
Yeah.
So
I said it was like really warm and bam, then it's cold, then it's going to get warm again. And then,
yeah. No, I'll take the cooler weather all the time till summer.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 110.
Yeah.
The June, I feel like June's the worst.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. You good there, Shay? Shay out of the camera, send it up. Yeah, so I'm so glad you're here. I know we were supposed to do last week, but we had some stuff come up, and and I'm so glad that you came back.
Well, I appreciate you guys accommodating me and bringing me back.
Of course, yeah.
Very
so
nice.
thanks for coming back. So there's a couple, big topics that people are talking about around town, and I'm sure you know because you've seen them in social media platforms and people speaking their mind and their ideas on things. And the first one I want to talk about with you is the Downtown Marana Project information that came out. So
we're lucky because those are the two, the downtown and the Mark. I wanted kind of the top of our list in Marana.
Yeah, let's do both of them.
So if you want to do downtown, let's start with that a minute. And I want to go through, if you don't mind, the process that we did. We did an RFP process and that was in May 17th of 2024. And we sent out many requests for proposals, and this is a big project, so we didn't know how many we would get back. A lot of money involved, a lot of depth in the design. So we sent it out, and we only received one proposal back. That was from Marana, Urban Marana LLC. And so we had our staff and some others look at the RFP, make sure everything was in order. We liked it. We had a study session. That was the other thing on this project. And the thing with the downtown too is most of us have been thinking about this for years, and so that's why we're excited. I remember 15 some years ago, we've had consultants come in and said, "Here's an idea for your downtown," but because of I think the climate at the time, the funds at the time just weren't available to the town, and we just couldn't move forward. So this is a long-term coming to fruition for us. So I wish Mayor Honey was here to see it. He, of course, was part of all those discussions. Yeah. So anyway, we had our staff look at the RFPs, and they got to the point where we directed them to go ahead and start negotiations with Marana LLC, Urban Marana LLC. Let me look here. And so for the town, the land is, excuse me, the land is right across from the Mark. There's 20 acres there, and that's town-owned land. So the town is responsible in this agreement for the public infrastructure, utilities, the parking. There's going to be the brick roads and the archways. Mm-hmm. There's no driving in this area. People will have parking outside. So this is all a walk scenario. Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're working on the contract right now. The funding for the project, people have asked us, it's coming from our bed tax fund and our downtown recruitment, downtown investment fund. Once the contract's signed, then we're going to go into design, and that'll probably take 12 to 18 months. There's going to be 2 phases. And let me give the website where people can go and really look at the drawings, the renderings. It's maranaaz.gov /downtown.
Okay.
And that's where you're going to see some of the things you've seen already in the kind of the cowboy thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be brick all through there, brick roads. Again, not for autos. The design is going to be, we try to keep it in the spirit of North Marana, the kind of that little bit cowboy type thing. And I want to make clear too, we've got things in there. We say rodeo, mm-hmm. restaurants, bars. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Now we're not going to have a rodeo, and there will be some live animals there, but it's not like a full downtown rodeo. This is going to have a bar in it, a restaurant. Mm. You bring your kids. You can probably get like a petting zoo, but then like mutton busting that we have at our
the Heritage Festival,
Heritage Park, in October. A little bit about Marana Urban LLC. It is the principal owner of that is Scott Steitler. He's done over 25 projects in Tucson. Mm-hmm. Some of those I'm going to list. The Mikado District in Tucson. He renovated the Rialto Building downtown, the Hub Restaurant, Hub Ice Cream, Playground. Some others are Good Oak Bar, the Love Burger, the AC by Marriott, and Corbett Building, and Sky Ranch in Marana. Yeah. So we were very impressed with him. And the other thing for me, what I liked about it is I've been here a long time like you, and you know what downtown looks like years ago. And so now when I drive through there, I see, you know, a better, a nicer, a more welcoming Tucson. And a lot of that had to do with Mr. Steitler and his company.
Yeah.
So that is my take on our downtown.
Yeah.
So you have any questions on that?
So only one response to the RFP.
Yes. Yes.
So
Only
that's
one.
something that I think some folks didn't know. You know, I know there was some conversation as to why somebody was recruited from the Tucson area to do the Marana project. I think it was something that was talked about, you know, because there was also information that, you know, there was some tours and stuff that went on within Marana and the Marana Chamber where folks went up to Gilbert and Queen Creek and had conversations about how they did things there.
Yes.
And then there was talk of people communicating with folks out in Texas in a certain area and all that. And then, you know, we get to the project and then it's somebody from Tucson designing it, which you know, me personally, I'm just thrilled that there's going to be awesome stuff there.
Yes.
But the conversation was like, well, why was that selected? Because I think there are some folks that are in the area that go, hey, we want that Marana taste idea feel. You know, we don't want to be like Tucson, right?
No. And you know, great question. And let me be very clear on that is, they did go, there was a 3 or 4 people from the town of Marana, and they did go to San Antonio and look at some renderings down there that Mr. Steitler had done. So our town manager and 1 or 2 of his staff went down. I think Mule Alley was something I know you guys.
So he did that too.
Yes,
Steitler did. Okay, so see, that's really good to know. Yeah,
Steitler's done projects through the United States. I just listed the ones here that people would know, but we do not want it to look like Tucson. We want it to be Marana. And I think, again, you go to the renderings and I think that's
looks
Tucson.
Fun.
It's going to be fun. And, but we didn't pick him because he was from Tucson. I know I heard your podcast and Chris, you know, about why would you want to, you know, do Tucson? No, we don't. We want to stay true to our heritage. And again, yes, there was only one proposal. You know, I was in contracts negotiations for years, and I was a little disappointed. You always want to have choices.
Yeah.
But, and so I asked, I said, why only one?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was my next question. Why only one?
And from what I get from my staff is that this is a huge undertaking. This is a downtown, and I don't have a price for anybody yet. We have to get.
I don't know how you could.
We can't.
Yeah,
we can't. We've got to get an idea sooner or later. But right now, with just doing the agreement, and then we'll go into design. Then we will put out the price for the first phase, and maybe the second. I'm not sure, but. We just don't know what it's going to be yet. But back to the proposal, yes, I wish we would had more, but we sent it out to many vendors, and I think it's just a unique set of criteria that they had to meet, and no one really met that criteria. Criteria except for. Marana Urban LLC. So that's how he was picked. Now, if we would have got one, if his didn't hit the buttons, we would have had to rebid. That's what I did years ago when I was working. If nobody hit the right criteria, then we would have to rebid, which is, of course, more time. This took forever to almost. I mean, when I was looking at this, we started it in May.
Okay.
In 24. So, and then we didn't, we did not approve this until November 19th at a council meeting. So that's the answer on the one vendor.
Okay. Hey, Shay, you're doing a great job in there. Any chance you can raise her volume just a little bit more? That'd be awesome. So you said something about the Mark.
Yes.
What is that?
Oh, that's the Marana Aquatic Research Recreation Center.
Oh, that's what it's called. The Mark.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now we're trying to get that out there. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Because now people are like, what is the Mark?
Yeah.
Just that's what the staff came up, so we don't have to continue to say the recreation center, aquatic center. So that's the Mark.
Is that going to be like a literature communication that's put out for folks? It's going to be called the Mark?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to the Mark?
Well, David, you're very intuitive, because that's exactly when somebody said, what are we going to call this? And then it certainly wasn't me. Our staff got together and they came up with Mark. And I'm like, well, that's not a bad idea. So yes, the idea is meet me at the Mark. And then the other day I saw some literature and it said, how are you going to leave your mark on Marana, or, something like that. So
that's great.
Yeah, we're trying to do media.
Good.
Live the dream.
Yeah. I noticed, so last episode we ended up covering the proposed fees for the Mark.
Yes.
Right. And we had a discussion. We had them on the screen. We were talking them through.
Yes.
And that meeting's still happening soon, right? Or did it already happen?
Yes. So with the Mark, thank you for getting me a segue right into that. Again, a little bit of history behind that. The recreation center, and the pool, that's been an idea for a long time. People have been on our master plan, Parks master plan. It's one of the top 3 things when we go out to the community and say, what would you like to see in our park master plan? They want a rec center. Our Orome Harn pool is 60 some years old, so we definitely need a new pool. But again, we could not afford, when this was becoming quite an item people wanted. The time wasn't right. Funds weren't available. Just wasn't the right time for us to pull that trigger. So again, another thing we're excited about. And let me see on the dates here. So in August of 2024, we held an in-depth study session, and that's where the fees were created. And the fees were taken from private industry and from commercial. I know I know what.
So you can say that again. The fees were taken.
The fees were, we went out and looked at private, like LA Fitness.
So you guys did like comparisons with private and
private and public areas. So we looked at those, and then we published those fees in December of this past year. I know you guys had a podcast on it too, and you were looking at some fees, and I should have brought my phone over here to show you what I wanted to show you, but here's what the difference was. And I know you've had some questions, and other people have questions.
Yeah, I think the biggest question for me was, so I've been using private, gyms for several years, and I've used, like the YMCA before, which was really a low cost alternative. And then there was, I'm not going to say the other company, but yeah, I'm paying, $24.99 a month for a private gym membership.
Let me explain something, and maybe we can.
Yeah, because I just want to figure out how, we're 30.
When I watched your podcast, and you and Clint, the one thing I want to make clear is this is not, the Mark is not going to be, is not to make money. We're a municipality. All we're going to do in those fees, not the ones you showed, I'll go to those in a minute, but the fees, I'm sorry to have to get my phone over here. I can show you the fees for everyday people. I mean, our community, and of course the residents of Marana. The Mark was built for them. The pool, the whole complex was built for the community. It was community driven, and that's who it's for.
Right.
So when you show the fees for, let's say a kid 13 years old wants to go to the Mark, and to both the aquatic center and the recreation center, $4 for the whole day, back and forth. I'd have to go look at the family. Let's go down through the membership. There's a weekly, I think, a monthly, and then a yearly annual pass. Those I think are very, very well thought out, the fees. And most of the people that I've gotten comments from have loved those fees, not to confuse what you and Clint were looking at, because we'll get there in a minute. But these are just everyday people, residents and community members. Their fees will be a little higher. The fees that you guys were looking at are ones for outside, like you said.
Sports organizations.
Yes. Let's say somebody wants to come in and have a basketball tournament.
Right.
Or a pickleball tournament. Yes, those fees are higher. And the reason is, again, we wanted to do kind of a balance between our folks in the community and then those people who want to come in. And when I say come in from Phoenix or another state and use our rec center, we'd be glad to have them. But it's really built for the town. So for the first year, we'll just be getting our feet on the ground on this. And I doubt if we'll see any tournaments coming in. If they do, and they want to spend a couple of days, we will look at that and see how that coincides with what we're doing. But, and I know because you guys are public or private industry, and I was listening to you talk, oh yeah, you're talking about economic development and bringing people in here and staying at our hotels and going to the mark. That's not what's behind this when we thought about it. And it still isn't, but we'll be glad to entertain that once in a while. But it wasn't to drive profit. It wasn't to, it was only to make sure that our residents are put first and foremost. And again, and then even when we do bring somebody in and the fees we would collect, again, it's just cost of doing business, getting our, you got
to keep the lights on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
keep the lights on, pay salaries. That's all we would collect from them.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good to clear up and know, knowing that it's mainly for the people that live there. And it's not like the travel ball world coming and, all these different things from across the U.S. coming to use the facility.
And even our local, the swim teams, that even in mind was, of course, for the community, but then we have the Marana Marlins, and they've been here forever, and they've been a kids team, and they've been in Morame Arns pool for years.
I was swimming in that pool.
Were you swimming in? Yes, you probably were.
I went to Marana Middle right there.
So anyway, they were really happy to see that we do kind of have a professional pool. And
I heard you say, did you say you have a comment on the chat?
Yeah, Maggie Kinney said the mark is very affordable. The YMCA is $40 a month for an adult, $840 a year for a family.
Okay, so she said the YMCA is $40 a month? Is that what you said? Okay. Yeah, so there's somebody who commented on the chat saying that the YMCA is now $40 a month, which and $800 a year, you said?
You made for $40 a month for a membership?
$40 for a membership?
For a family?
$40 a month for an adult, $840 a year for a family.
Wow. I can't say I've seen that. We'll check into that, but that's high. Wow. That's interesting. Did you hear that? So she's saying that someone wrote on the comment that it's $40 a month for an adult at the YMCA now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, our I don't know how to say this. I can go get the fees if you want to.
No. Yours is lower than that. And I know that for sure.
Yeah, and
it's $30.
Yeah. And again, not the ones you were looking more at the business type fees. You and Clint the other day on the podcast. I'm just looking at the fees that we have put out for a family, a single person, a single adult, children, teens. And how I'll tell you, there was I only saw one person, and they did their homework, came back and said, no, where I'm at, I'm cheaper. But everybody else, and it's hard to get people together to coming down the same conclusion. They all said, "This is cheaper. This is cheaper. This is cheap." So we were so happy to hear that, because we just want to include everybody in this new endeavor, and have a place for the kids to get out of the sun, seniors to get out of the sun. They have their own activities up there now, the seniors, Marana seniors, but they too will be able to come in, I think half a day or a day, and do what they want. And so, yeah. And and like you said, you could send your kids in there, depending on how old they are, on their own, give them $4, and they're back and forth. Or we even have a video room as you come in. If one of your kids has to wait for you for something, and, let's say you go to the ESCA school and they said, just walk to the mark, they can come in and go left almost immediately and get into the video room for free.
Right.
So everybody that's out there liking Nintendo or, Xbox, it's going to be nothing but video games and videos, and that's going to be free of charge.
Yeah.
Our child watch, $2 an hour. Mom has to be there, or dad. $2 an hour. If you've got a membership, it's included. So I think we've done a pretty good job on the fees. It's let me see what it's going to be open. We're anticipating mid-May. So we're trying.
That's soon.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're trying to do it to get it open before the kids get out of school. I think that's about it on the mark.
No,
Unless
that's
you have
great.
questions.
No, that's it. That's why, bringing up those fees and the numbers that were there, we want to spark conversation, because here's what we don't want happening, right? We don't want, and this, we don't want there to just be like, oh, we're just going to do it.
No.
We don't want we don't want to lose touch with process. We don't want to lose touch with communicating to folks about it and stuff, and I personally hadn't seen anything really come out other than from the town. And so I'm like, hey, you know what? I have a lot of friends and family that live in the area. Let's talk about it, because there were, you haven't been approached with anything, but we've been approached with concerns about some of the pricing.
Yes.
And so they're like, well, maybe you can spark a conversation about it. And what people are looking for, I would say 99% of the time with those questions, is the why.
Yes.
They might not be angry about it or like, oh, that's unacceptable, but why? How did we get there? Yeah. So, which you've done an awesome job explaining today.
Well, I'm glad you guys had your podcast. Thank you for that, because when I watched it, I'm like, what? No, I'm talking to you. Yeah. I'm like going, no, Clint, no, but I've been there, and I'm right there, and the other council members, we've got it up here. And so when someone like you, that's not quite, you guys are really in touch with Marana and Oro Valley, but when I heard the podcast, I went, no, that's not what we're doing. Like with the fee or with the, with the fees is we are going to charge to recover our costs. There was a time when we talked about, we were pretty naive at the time, but we were not even thinking of charging fees. And then we went to, the council went to Goodyear last year, and they had they built a rec center and aquatic center, and they'd been open for about a year, and they were very helpful. Some of our concepts came from Goodyear's. They told us what we said, tell us what you would have done differently. And they said, make it larger. Yeah. So Mayor Honey insisted we have three basketball courts, and we learned things from them. And one of the things they had to do, they had so many people, and they're much bigger than we are, but they had to close it down just to residents. It was so successful that then all of a sudden the residents got lost. So now it's just the residents in Goodyear. Okay. But their fees, we were looking at their fees and how they derived what they have.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I was listening to you guys, I'm like, we're so close to it. We think people know.
And they don't. Yeah.
And they don't. So even though I was wanting to go, I'm talking to you saying, no,
Come on, David.
No, you know.
Hey, yeah, that's why platforms like this exist.
And,
right?
and you know, before we end, I just want to put it out there. Everything is on the website. We have a new website, so it's so much easier to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Study sessions. That's where you would learn what I mean when I say you. What I mean, anybody. We had a study session last night on affordable housing. You learn just when we learn. Like when we have these study sessions for the fees, and we had it for the mock, and we had it for the downtown. If people would come to the study sessions, they're learning just when we are.
Here's the difficult thing, Roxanne, and you're going to know what I'm going to say right now.
They can't.
How do people ingest their information these days?
How they what?
How do a lot of people ingest their information these days?
I'm going to say phone. That's where
Quick, right? Yeah. So like getting people to go and look up a website and which the new website's awesome, by the way. Going and doing all that. It's a task on its own. So that's why we're like, hey, let's just make sure we have an open platform for folks to talk on.
I appreciate that. And again, you're right. I mean, I've been trying for 18 years for people to come to council meetings. I'm not doing a very good job at that. But if they can come to a council meeting.
They gotta want to. You can.
Yeah. The kids have to. They're taking their kids everywhere, school things.
But we got to go to a quick break, quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the. Unless there's more you want to talk about with this, if not, we'll talk about the Live to Lead leadership, the prayer breakfast, and then we'll call today. We're going to have a couple minutes left, so we're going to go to a quick sponsorship break. Shay, you're doing awesome. Thank you so much.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair. My drains were clogged. I was really in despair. So I called some guy. You've never seen such a mess. And every time he leaned over, well, you can probably guess. Now I get it done right by Picture Rocks Cooling. They're neat and clean, peachy keen. Really no fooling. Got a problem? Just call them and help is coming. Picture Rocks Cooling, heating and plumbing.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net. We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles. Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
All right, welcome back. We've had a great conversation so far. I've enjoyed this. I've learned a lot today.
Well, I've learned from you. And before we step into something new, again, I just want to say to our residents, the community, I'm going to give you the town hall number. 520-382-1900. Any questions, please call that number and tell them what department you want to go to. You can call me. Most of you have my cell phone number off my card. Call our staff if you've got questions. Don't be afraid that we're busy. We're busy, but we work for you. I just want to remind everybody, we work for you. if you can come to a council meeting, it's the first and third Tuesdays of the month. But if you can't, I know everybody's so busy with their kids and family and school, but you can go online to the website and do notifications. And it's very simple now, and you can be notified on your phone of anything coming up, community meetings, public meetings, council meetings, or study sessions. So don't be afraid to pick the phone up and give me a call.
Cool. And also follow on social media. There's posts and everything coming out all the time. So that's another great way. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know if we'll get to everything, but you went to the Live to Lead leadership event that happened here in January.
Yes.
And it was the first one of its kind here in the area in Pima County. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you about it, what you thought about it. You know, the reason being is we were a sponsor of the event. The reason we got asked to sponsor it was because of the platform we have and the people we know and the things we're doing. And it all kind of meshed like, hey, we're trying to do all this and be better leaders and help people out and serve. What did you think of it?
I loved it. Yes, live to lead. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I
really enjoyed it. I didn't know, okay, what's gonna happen here? So it was lovely to go over to the church, or Valley Nazarene Church, beautiful community there, and that big hall. And Jose Oliver from Awakenings, he was, our MC. He's adorable. He did a great job. I looked around the room and I saw a lot of millennials. I'm like, okay, am I too old to learn new tricks yet? I look around and they were very engaged. But no, I thought, and I didn't know if I'd like the idea that we had virtual. But you know what? It came across virtual, except for Dr. Streeter from MUSD, but it came across very well. I mean, I sat there, I listened, and then we had to do homework, folks. We had to interact and discussions, and I really enjoyed it. I would encourage anybody. Then I think you're going to have another one soon. We had lunch. It's quite a day. I think we started about 8 and got out about 2. Be ready to work and be interactive. I'm glad you did it. Their advice was good. All the speakers were good.
What was what was the biggest thing you took from that? What was the best presentation piece?
I think it was.
I know it was a lot to go through, but
but to me it was try to get along. For me, it was make sure you know who you're talking with. Realize that they might not have had a good morning or a good day that morning, but you can help by being open and embracing people and their ideas. And we're all in this together. And I just learned that I too could learn some things. Like I said, there are a lot of younger people there and older people, but I learned some things and on how to, especially in my new role now, on how to better serve the town of Marana, how to look more forward to things and be more prepared. A lot of love in that room. I could see, if I can mention Clint Peak, I was sitting at David's table, and after about 35, 40 minutes of, oh my God, I forgot Maxwell. What's his first name?
John Maxwell.
John Maxwell. He was delightful. I leaned over to Clint or to David and said, Clint's just like this guy, which
fact.
I think it really was a fact. And if you know Clint and how excited he is and such a good person and always wanting to include you and not judging people, I said, this is almost like Clint. And I did not know that Mr. Maxwell was his kind of like a mentor as he was growing up and somebody he followed.
Yeah, and Zig Ziegler. Zig Ziegler was a big one for him too.
Ziegler is not in my family. Maybe I'd be better if he was, but public speaking and
you could
what
still
I
study
say.
all his work. Yeah.
But yes, I did not know that. And when I went, it said something to you, you could really see it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Roxanne. We just hit the
mark.
The mark. If you're looking, if you don't know who Clint Peak is and you want to learn more about Clint Peak, as Roxanne was talking about him, he has a show coming on today at 11 o'clock. So an hour from now, you can catch him on the Clint Peak Show with Ron Arenas, who is the owner of Picture Rocks Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So don't miss that. And as always, I want to say thank you to everybody for listening and supporting us. If you want to sponsor our show, be an advertiser on our program, reach out to us and we'll make sure that happens. Roxanne, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be here with us and to talk with us in the community.
I appreciate it. I love to talk about Marana, and thank you.
Let's make this happen more often.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning us a lot in your podcasts.
Absolutely.
I learned something too. So we really appreciate it. And Christy Samoan, I'm sure you're going
Christy Samoan,
yeah, he's going to do great here, I know.
I think so. I think so. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you so much.